Welcome to Let's Talk, where Spokane Talks hosts seek out and discuss the latest on a variety of interesting topics to Spokane and North Idaho. Here's today's host, Mike Fitzsimmons.
Welcome to this edition of Let's Talk. I'm Mike Fitzsimmons, and it's, of course, politics we're talking about today. The primary election is coming up in the Spokane and Spokane Valley area on the 6th of August, and one of the candidates who seeks the city council position number 2 in Spokane Valley is Rocky Samson, and he joins us now. Rocky, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today. The Valley is a relatively new entity as big cities go. It's the 6th, I think, largest city in the state of Washington, but it hasn't been around very long. I mean, it was created by voters just a few years back.
Yes.
And so it's having its growing pains and problems with respect to how to manage the status as the population continues to grow out there. And that is a major concern for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think we need to have a planned growth. One thing that when I ran 2 years ago, nobody really explored the options of a downtown. They started to a little bit, and they're like, well, where do we put the downtown? Is it U City? Is it along Sprague? I think that, my own opinion, I think we need to grow around the city hall, the new city hall building, once we get that one fixed.
And for the longest time, the city hall was actually in a commercial building, and then later on it became an entity of its own. They built the structure there, but that really isn't the center of town, is it?
No, it's not really the center of town. I would consider U City, University, Sprague being the center of the valley, or even, what we talked about before was Pines being the center. So somewhere in between there, or most cities built their city around the city hall.
And on a main drag.
One
thing's for sure, the main street of Spokane Valley as a city is Sprague Avenue.
Correct.
I mean, I don't think anybody would argue with that.
To me, it would be Sprague and Pines would be the center.
That would be the epicenter of the city.
That
essentially, yes. But then at the same time, other people have other views. That there's also properties that are there and have been in use for a long, long time. So there's not much you can do to change that. But what you're saying is you need some sort of an identity, some sort of a gathering place that the community recognizes as the town center, the town square, so to speak,
downtown.
Right? Yeah.
So
how do you get there? How do you do that?
Well, you really have to think about where exactly that you're going to put it, first of all. Then you have to just start growing, and it's a gradual thing. You have to put your, build around your city hall, put your, maybe a museum there, maybe a park there, and just kind of grow around it. And the businesses will grow around your city center.
But there already are some businesses there that probably aren't going to be too happy about vacating in order to create such a thing.
Well, maybe we wouldn't have to vacate them. Maybe we could keep them and add another street there. Kind of like a downtown, like a back east kind of downtown like you see on the TV.
As you talk to constituents and such, is this a pressing issue to them?
I haven't really talked to many of them. I try to keep out on my own and do my own campaign and my own thing. I haven't had a chance to sit down and talk with them yet.
Why hasn't an effort, a visible effort, been undertaken to do this up until now? Because
I think it's everybody's been kind of divided. And I think that we need to come together, unite, and work together as a whole, rather than going off on our own separate things.
I asked you before we went on about what you thought was perhaps the most urgent issue associated with Spokane Valley, and one that would be at the top of your priority list when and if you become a council member. And you said it's managing the growth.
Yeah, I think we need to manage growth. We're having an abundance of apartments being built, and we just need to manage what we have right now. Maybe expand a little bit, but we want to, with every city, you're going to grow. I mean, that's just the thing. Your population.
Well, you have to attract, obviously, revenue
Right.
base, larger revenue base, ever larger revenue base.
Yes.
At the same time, however, even though that's been the problem since the day the city was established, it seems as though the growth has been kind of on its own as opposed to actually in accordance with a specific plan.
Yes, I think we need to come up with a plan and figure out what we want. If we want sidewalks, or if we want, we already know we want roads. We want good roads, right? So let's kind of expand from there and talk about this and sit at a table and say, hey, okay, this is what we need to do, and come and unite. Republicans.
How will you lead that?
How would I lead that? I'm a very good leader. I'm a very good businessman. I consider myself a very good businessman. I own several businesses, Checker Auto Sales, Checker Auto Repair. We own a few other dealerships across the country. So I want to bring, I have already brought this to Spokane Valley, and I think that we can attract some other businesses like Chick-fil-A, some of the bigger ones.
Would you convene some type of a ongoing conversation with the public about what they want and how to do it, and come up with proposals the council could put before them?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think that that would be a very good idea.
You, at the same time, however, are concerned that already, even without this being done, that the city is not managing its finances very well and is spending too much.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be an expensive thing if we're going to do the kinds of things you're talking about.
Correct.
So how do we reconcile that?
But if you do that, it'll be a good thing. And I'm not saying that we need to spend and raise taxes and all of these great, things that the Democrats want to do. I don't want to do that. I want to limit it. It's a tough situation because you want to limit it, but if you put more stuff in and more growth, then you'll add more businesses, and then you'll add more taxes, and then you will have a little bit more money that won't affect our tax money as much.
Do you think that the lack of coordinated growth plan is one of the reasons why the city of Spokane Valley hasn't attracted large industries, big employers up to this point? That
Yes.
they're a little nervous about. I'm not quite sure what you guys are all about out there.
Right. Yeah. I think. Well, I don't know all the history behind it, but I believe that we could have gotten Amazon in the valley.
And you think that the reason we didn't is what?
I think the reason is just because it's not a managed growth thing. There's bonds, there's all these things that, that we have a lot of property, open, vacant property, that we can get some of these big places in, create more jobs, create more tax money coming in to help the city to do the things that they want to do rather than getting bonds after bonds after bonds.
You have, as you mentioned, that one of the best assets the valley has is land. You got lots of land. You also have proximity to a major interstate,
Yes.
I-90. You've got proximity to major east-west rail lines.
Correct.
You're just a few minutes away from the Spokane Airport by freeway, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, everything there is in place as far as the kinds of things that expanding businesses or businesses that might want to build there would look at and say, well, we need to have the following things in order for us to be interested. And it's all there, but something seems to be missing because they don't show up there.
Well, it's lack of organization, I think.
So what kind of proposals do you have to get that organization under control?
Well, I'm not exactly sure as far as what plans I have as of yet. I've seen the budget. I know that we need to cut expenditures.
What are they spending too much on?
I'm not really at liberty to say that right now. I don't want to go into that right yet because I don't know I don't know everything yet.
Well, they have a contract with the Spokane County Sheriff's Department for law enforcement.
Correct.
In the
Yes.
city. You okay with that?
I am okay with that. Yes. Yeah.
You'd keep that.
I think that they should stay for a little bit until we can come up with a better solution, and then maybe another solution is getting our own police in there. Yeah, every city has their own police
Well, but the contract, I mean, they are your police there, but they
Correct.
are provided by and trained by the sheriff's office, but they are the Spokane Valley
But
Police
they're
Department.
also stretched out too. I mean,
So, apart from managing growth,
uh-huh.
one of the other concerns you have is the infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about sidewalks here. If you want a sidewalk, then we're going to figure out a way to get you one that you don't have to pay for, and that if you're elderly, I want to implement a plan that my father did back in Detroit, where if you cannot do it yourself, then we'll get somebody from the jail where they're doing their workforce programs to come and clean your yard or clean your sidewalk off, so that you're not going to receive a stupid a fine for not being able to clean off your sidewalk.
Would that include during winter time and snow and
Yes.
snow removal and that sort of
Yes.
thing?
Mm-hmm.
Right. What about the general condition of streets out there? It seems as though
The money's running out, man.
Well, I know the money's running out. It's running out everywhere. But
Yeah.
but the valley's streets seem to be in better shape than the city of Spokane's
Yes.
streets.
Yeah.
That's not because they're just plain newer.
No, well, it's because they're newer, of course, I think, but it also has to do with what we're using. We're using a chemical, biodegradable chemical. I'd like to explore some other ideas. I have a couple of ideas myself. Go back to good old-fashioned biodegradable salt. It seems to work back east. Why wouldn't it work here? Not only that, that chemical, I know from having family in the construction industry that chemical is eating away our pavements and our concrete. So you can look on any freeway that we have, and every 2 years they're having to replace it. That's got to be the chemical. It's a heat-activated chemical.
So you'd want to manage the overall street maintenance process in a different direction altogether.
Yes, I would. Yeah, I'd like to explore that opportunity anyway.
In terms of attracting new revenue in the area, new residents, obviously, and what have you, you've got the whole issue of development.
Uh-huh.
And in the issue of development, you've got to find some form, I presume, of uniform policy relative to how we're going to do this, so that you can keep this sort of thing under control. But obviously, you want to attract new residents, new homes, new population out there. Do you not?
Yes, yeah. Somebody said, well, we need to attract the right ones. Well, how do you do that? And that's an issue. How do you attract the right people? You don't want to attract, somebody who's going to go out and rape, murder, or kill, of course, right? So how do you do that? One of the things is homelessness. You don't want to attract the homelessness over
Does
to the
Spokane
valley.
Valley have a problem with homelessness?
It doesn't really have a problem, but it's there.
Every community is there.
Well,
But I mean,
no,
is it
not necessarily every
is it
community.
getting out of control?
I don't think that it's getting out of control. I think that if we're lax on it and we don't enforce the laws that we have, then I think that it will become an issue and a problem.
Is the council currently attentive to that issue?
I've been to a few council meetings where there was that issue brought up. And some of the things that they're building right now, I think, is going to attract homeless.
Such as?
There was a project where they were going to put up I think it was on the trail. They wanted to put a shower in.
On the Centennial Trail?
Yes, I'm going to put a shower and a bathroom in there. And yeah, it was the trail. And they want to add a shower, a bathroom, more benches. Benches to me are beds, because I see how the homeless are. A shower is a place they can clean themselves.
So you have a concern that would attract additional homeless population?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And that's something that I don't think that Spokane Valley wants or needs.
You've been talking, I'm sure, to people.
Yes.
And asking them what's their major concerns, what are their issues, what are the things they are troubled by, right? What are they telling you?
Yeah. The things that they're troubled by are the roads, and they're concerned about the budget. Us running out of money for being able to keep these roads going. It's going to become a problem.
So
I
the
think
current road maintenance
money is almost gone.
Why is that? Bad
Well,
planning? What?
Yeah, it's been spent other places. Yeah,
Elaborate on that a little bit.
there's been other programs that they've done with parks and recreation and wanting to build a new library.
So they've taken money from roads to
I think
fund that?
I'm not 100% sure, but it looks that way by the budget.
All right. So you've combed over the budget, I presume, and you're aware of where the expenditures are.
Yes.
And obviously, you see things that
I see things
appear
that
to
could
be a little bit excessive, in other areas they're a little thin.
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about, basically?
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, a little more. Is there enough transparency with respect to this that the citizens of Spokane Valley have the ability to see what's going on a day-to-day basis, to where they?
I think more people need to get involved. Really. Because there is transparency. You can go and request the budget report.
Right.
You can look at it yourself.
Anybody could.
Anybody
Any
can.
citizen can.
Any citizen.
Yeah.
And go in there and look through it and see what we're paying the city manager, see what we're paying the city attorney, see what the councilmen are making, see what we're spending on roads, see what we're spending on the police force.
And then
make your own decision.
as to whether that's too much or not enough.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But be informed.
You've been in the valley how long?
I have been here for about 5 years.
About 5 years. So what prompted you to want to run for city council?
Well, I love to serve. Number one, I'm a server. I like to help people. I've always been that way. Checker Auto Sales, I opened up, and that's what we do, is we help people. $500 down, you get a car. We put people back out on the road, which puts them back to work.
So, but there wasn't a particular issue that became the catalyst for Rocky saying,
Yeah.
I'm going to run for office. By golly, I got to do
Yes,
something about
there
that.
was.
What was it?
Okay, so when I came here to Spokane Valley, I brought my checker cab with me. Mm-hmm. Opened up checker cab, and I didn't like the situation with Uber and Lyft because they were taking a lot of the business because they were offering all these things without having regulations. I went to Rod Higgins, the mayor of Spokane Valley. Mm-hmm. I said, Rod, you got to help me with this. He says, Rocky, if you don't like it, then run for office.
So you thought, okay.
I thought, okay.
I don't like it. So
I don't like it. I'm going to do this.
And you ran 2 years ago.
Yes.
It didn't succeed then, but you decided you're going to keep going, huh?
I got my butt kicked real good
Yep.
by a really good lady, Pam Haley, and I learned a lot from her. And I think I'm better this time. I'm in a much better place. I have an 8-year-old daughter who I take care of. I'm a single father, and I want to see good things for her.
When the Spokesman Review first came out with the candidates running for office out in the Valley and elsewhere, they did their usual sweep that they do prior to the primary elections. Mm-hmm. They led with you and one of your opponents who have had some legal problems.
Correct, yes.
And that was basically the only thing they had to say about you, is that you had some type of legal problem. And, in your own words and in your own terms, what happened with that, and why, if at all, should the voters be concerned about that?
Okay, well, it happened about, 7-8 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about that. My mother and I went into business with my mother. We opened up 3 furniture stores.
This was where?
Back in Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she knew that I had a good business sense, and I do. And we opened up 3 furniture stores. I then we opened up a store where we shouldn't have opened up, and the economy just wasn't there.
Overextended just a bit.
Overextended, not just a bit, a lot. Mm. And we took revenue in from deposits on furniture, and in turn bills were coming due. So I allocated money to pay the bills, but then I forgot about allocating money for getting the furniture. Not really forgot about it, just didn't have it.
Couldn't.
So
the customers got upset?
The customers went to the county, complained, went to the city attorney, and said, hey, this is wrong. And in turn, they came after me and put me in jail for a charge which was called theft by requisition of property. Made a deal with them. I went to jail for about 6 weeks. Made a deal with them stating that once I paid everybody back and did 5 years probation, then that would be all dismissed.
They expunged the whole thing then?
Yes.
And has that happened?
And it has happened. It's gone.
So it's off the record?
This is a done deal. We're done with it. And I want to get it out in the open, so hopefully that it won't come out again.
But you know that politics being what it is,
it's going to come out again.
Somebody else is going to bring it up. I mean, they always do.
Right. So I'm ahead of it. Let's move past this. Let's get on to the issues, to real politics, to the real Republicans, and let's go forward.
So you don't regard that experience as being any kind of a black mark as to whether or not you ought to be able to serve on a city council?
No, I consider it a good mark, really. I learned something from it.
What was the major thing you learned?
The major thing I learned was budgeting.
So fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. So I think I bring with that to the city council, and I think I can help out a lot more because I understand what it's like for these small businesses. It's not easy. They don't have the money of the corporations.
How can the city of Spokane Valley accommodate small businesses, recognizing that reality? And you being a small businessman, having been, you've been in a variety of fronts, you realize that the environment, the government environment that a business exists in is an important element as well, and that the folks who run that government ought to be sensitive to the fact that that's a critical part of how their city survives.
Correct. Yeah.
What are you going to do for small business?
Well, I like the mentorship. I like that idea. I also like being able to help them financing, loans. SBA loans is a good way for small businesses.
So would that be a city function that you think would be important that they would
I think it
facilitate that?
Yes, I think it should be. Spokane has one. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yeah.
And where they will come in and they will mentor a new business. If they find it credible, they will invest, kind of like the Shark Tank.
Well, it's not the taxpayers' money. They will incubate those businesses, but that's all private money.
Right, that's all private money.
You don't want it to be public money in Spokane Valley, do you? You don't want the taxpayers doing that.
No.
Okay.
I think that that I can guide them along to teach them a little bit.
Facilitate the process.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's one thing that you can do. With respect to the tax structure and the utilities costs and things of that nature, is that an impediment to small business developing?
It is, especially Vista utilities. They're expensive. We have what's called Modern Electric in part of Spokane Valley, and it's a third of the cost of a Vista. I'd like to see if we can cut some costs there.
And Modern is a cooperative, right? And Vista is a regulated for-profit.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. When I had my shop over at 205 South Pines, we were on Modern Electric, and it was a third of the price of Vista.
So what could the city council do to rectify that situation?
Taxes, I think. We need to figure out a way to cut our taxes. Our taxes were raised by 6% for the next 3 years, 2% per year. This is something that the
That's property tax?
Yeah, property tax, sales tax. I'm not for sure sales tax.
Sales tax is a state.
Yeah.
You can only raise it so far at the city level.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's a state tax.
Yeah.
But the property tax,
property tax is huge. A lot of landlords had to raise their rents, which in turn trickled down to our citizens. It's hard for them to afford what they have, some of them, especially if you're looking at it from a homeless side. Well, how's the homeless, if they want to not be homeless anymore and your taxes are so high, it increases your rent. It's just a trickle effect.
Is the Spokane Valley City Council accountable to the people? Do you think, or could it be more accountable? Do the representatives of the citizens listen to their constituencies and invite concerns and actually act on them, or is it just you elected us, so just be quiet, we'll take care of things?
I think they listen to them.
Do they?
Yeah.
Enough?
No.
So what would you do differently?
I would be more accessible. I'd listen. I'm very compassionate, and I'm concerned about each and every one of our citizens. I want a better life for all of us. I want the pursuit of happiness.
Some quick response questions then. Number one reason why Rocky Samson should be our choice for the city council, what is it?
Number one reason is because I have a good business and finance background. I think that,
Speak to that a little more.
I think bringing my business and finance along will create jobs. It'll create a happiness here.
Okay. Second question. What's the first thing you work on as soon as you become a council member? What's the first thing? Okay, day one, here's what I'm doing.
Relationships, leadership. I'm a leader. I want to work with both sides. So if there's Republicans and there's Democrats and there's progressives, I want to work with all of them. I want to come to a common ground day one and say, hey, this is what we need to do.
Do you get along with and can get along with all of the other colleagues you would have on that council?
I can get along with anybody. I got along with you.
But I mean, there's nothing that would prevent you from being able to find common ground.
No. The person that I'm going against is the only one that I probably couldn't get along with.
And are you a conciliatory individual? Can you bring consensus out in a group?
I really can, yes.
You have experience having done that?
Yes, I can. We can all find a common ground to reach a goal that we all want to reach. You know, we just have to figure out
if you're willing to.
Yeah. Well, I think that even if you're not willing to, you know, we can say, okay, well, what are you willing to do? Mm-hmm. You know, so we need to find that area, that little gray area, and just all come together to that. And I think that we can do that. I think that we can make a successful, nice Spokane Valley that is going to attract people, good people, in to the City Valley or to Spokane Valley.
The primary election in August. Primary elections in our state have generally been poorly participated in. Let's say, for example, if you can get 30% of the electorate to turn out, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I think.
And yet, at the same time, would you agree with me that primary elections are perhaps the single most important of the elections, rather than a general, because you have more choices in that case?
I think that it is. Yeah. We need to get voters in there.
How do you do that? How do you bring them out in a primary? It's summertime, it's warm. They're on vacation. The kids are out of school. They're fishing. They're water skiing. They're out at the lake. They're whatever. But how do you get them to the polls? How do you get them to vote?
How do you get them? Well, Spokane County's got a really good idea by mailing the ballots to the people, and they can do it at their leisure.
But I think don't. Sometimes, historically, they don't.
Right. I think sometimes people just let it sit there on the counter and then say, oh, darn, I forgot to vote. What we need to do is have more education, send out more, maybe more flyers to them and say, hey, don't forget to vote.
So how are you campaigning? What's your process? Do you have a lot of donors, individuals that are supporting you? What is your tactic? How are you going to between now and the election?
I have a few that are helping me out. We're going knocking door to door. I am myself. Got more signs ordered, so I'm waiting for those to come in. Get it out. Get my name out that way. A lot of people already know me from 2 years ago. They kind of know what I stand for, what I believe in. I'm a true Republican.
This is a nonpartisan election.
Oh, absolutely it is.
But obviously,
we all have our own views, don't we?
Under the shroud of nonpartisan, of course, obviously there.
Yeah, and Spokane Valley is primary Republican. That's
so that benefits you in large measure.
It does, and that's why your progressives, like Brandy Pete's the one I'm going after, wants to be a Republican. That's why she announces, I'm Republican.
But you consider her to be a progressive.
Progressive Democrat, somewhere in that. If you look anywhere in the valley, you see her signs, and they're right next to all the Democrats that are running. So she's running alongside of them.
What's your biggest criticism of your opponent?
My biggest criticism is that she just doesn't. She's not ready. She needs to take a little more time.
Explain that a little.
The current city council, I guess if you asked any one of them, they would probably tell you that she's just not. She just doesn't have a clue. One of her statements was that I have a full-time job, so I don't have time to read the minutes.
Minutes of council meetings?
Yes.
That she participated
That she participates in. So she didn't know what to vote on. She just looks so clueless of what's going on. People say, yeah, she wants to go out and she wants to, she wants good things for the valley. I'm sure she does. But she's just not ready. There comes a time I wasn't ready when I was 35 years old. You know what I mean? I'm almost 50 years old. I'll be 50 this year. I think now is the time. I'm ready.
The city council has an agenda, obviously, for the city itself, vis-a-vis the council policy setting and all that sort of thing. It also has to have a relationship with Spokane County, and it also has to have a relationship with the state of Washington.
Correct.
And legislators in the state of Washington, at least as we see the current majorities,
right,
do not agree with you on very many things.
Correct.
So how do you, and you will have a responsibility to persuade them to legislate in such a way that would be of value to the citizens of Spokane Valley.
Correct.
So what are you going to do about that?
Work with everybody and try to come to a common ground. I think that's the best solution there.
Your representatives and senators from that region?
Yes. Yeah.
Some of them are
Matt Shea, Bob McCaslin,
right.
Jenny Graham.
Right.
I want to work with all of them. I want to be right there in the middle of it.
Do you have a particular concern with respect to state government that they are doing something or planning something that isn't in the best interest of Spokane Valley?
No, actually, I think that it is in the best interest. I like Matt Shea's idea of the 51st state. I think that it may need some tweaking to it and some education along with it. But I think that it may be a good thing.
No, I'm referring to the legislature, not your legislators.
Okay. I'm
Washington
sorry.
State Legislature wants to raise business taxes. They want to raise taxes here. They want a carbon footprint tax. They want all kinds of things. Which
right. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that.
If I understand what you're saying, that's not consistent with what you want for Spokane Valley.
No.
So how are you going to combat that?
How am I? We're going to have to come to a common ground. We're going to have to talk. We're going to have to figure this out. Because we don't want taxes. Nobody wants to pay taxes, really. So let's try to see what we can get away with not paying. I don't want to see property taxes go up. I don't want to see the carbon taxes. I want to be able to live with no taxes, really.
Yeah, well, then that's ideal, but not likely.
Well, that's one of the goals of the 51st state.
So, well, we're not dealing with the 51st, but we're dealing with Spokane Valley in the current state. So,
right, yeah.
But the point being is that not every one of the political entities that have to fall into place for things to work in the best interests of the citizens of Spokane Valley are meshing correctly at this point. They're not.
Right. You're proving Matt Shea's point. Well, we're already divided. you have the liberals are mostly over on the west side of the state, where there's a line there around Wenatchee area where it's all Republican.
Well, largely,
largely,
not all.
Yes,
but I mean, obviously, there's
right. You're proving the point. We're already divided.
You've got Democrats in Spokane Valley too.
Yes, you do. Yes,
I mean,
but most of them have come from that other side.
Because let me understand then something. You're not planning on using the bully pulpit, if you will, of the Spokane Valley City Council to advocate a 51st state, are you?
No. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to bully anybody. I don't like bullies. I was bullied as a kid, and I'm not going to succumb to bulliness.
Okay, but you favor it. You think that
I do think it's a good idea, and I think it's something that we need to explore. I think that there are some things that
Why is it a good idea?
Why is it a good idea? Well, I like it's a good idea because it's already happening.
What do you mean?
It's already there. We're already divided. So
how would you economically support a 51st state?
How would you? We're already doing it.
No, we don't have one.
Well, what I'm saying is, economically, it's already happening. We already have the tax money and everything else to go along to pay for the 51st state.
Where's it coming from? What industries would support it?
Check out Matt Shea, because he has most of the information. I went to his sermon that he had, I guess you would call it, and I don't remember everything. So, and I don't want to quote something that's wrong.
Okay, let's get out of that cul-de-sac and
let's
move back out to the main road. Okay, if you do not succeed this time, going to run again?
Oh no! Ask me in 2 years.
I mean, are you dedicated to taking a leadership position in Spokane Valley, or is it?
Yes.
If you can make it, okay. If not,
yeah. I'm not going to say that I'll run in
No,
2
I understand
years,
that.
but
I understand
I'm
that, but
saying that
you wouldn't write it off.
I wouldn't write it off. No.
Right.
No.
Okay. In the event that you are elected, then, okay. What I asked you, what you'd first work on, what kind of legislative agenda, policy agenda, for the city would you have?
I think the roads would probably be number one. Just figuring out that and what's going on with the expenditures and try to work something out, because we're getting closer and closer to wintertime already.
They have a snow budget, right?
Yes, they have a snow budget, yes.
And it's an annualized.
Yes.
So they haven't spent any for this year yet.
Not yet, no.
Well, they might have. February was a pretty
Right.
bad year.
Yeah,
A
right.
pretty bad month as far as snow is
Right.
concerned. But they're dealing with potholes,
Repair
and
potholes.
new road construction. Should
yeah.
developers underwrite the cost of the roads that are placed in their developments themselves, even though the city is going to be responsible for the maintenance and the authority over them?
I think the developer should pay a percentage, if not all. Yeah.
A percentage.
Yes. Yeah.
And that should be uniform regardless of what kind of development, whether it's industrial or residential or whatever.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's residential or industrial. Yes.
Okay. And is that currently the way things work out there?
I'm not exactly for sure on that one. I don't know.
But it ought to be that way.
I think so. Yeah. That's just my opinion, but I haven't looked at any of the papers on that, or I need a little more time.
Okay.
For that one.
And also, if I were a business company, and I'm out exploring, and I'm looking for a community to locate a business in, or to even start one, for that matter, a large one, but one that would make that would result in significant employment for the community itself. In other words,
Right.
a lot of jobs would be made from that.
You're talking like an Amazon or a Walmart distribution center.
Well, they're pretty large, but even smaller than that, but still
Yeah.
significant. I mean,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 800 employees, something like that.
Okay.
That's pretty big,
Yeah.
big
Right.
comparatively, but not a small business. Not a mom and pop, not a retail outlet,
Okay.
but that kind of a business. And I were to contact you, what can you offer me in Spokane Valley?
I'll come out, and we'll explore if you weren't from the area, we could explore the area and decide where you want to build at. If you wanted to build, or if you wanted to do an existing.
Do you favor revenue incentives? In other words, tax adjustments or exemptions that would attract me there to build?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I think.
But other communities do. They'll say, hey, we'll let you build and live here tax free, so to speak, in your industry for 10 years, in order to get out here and get started. You don't.
I don't think. No. Why do you deserve to get a break when the other citizens have been paying the whole time?
Okay, so that would be off the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kinds of things could city services provide that would be attractive? And
the location, the freeway, the airport, the stadiums, everything that's going to bring in.
What about the education community there?
Education.
You got what, 3 or 4 major school districts out that way?
Yeah, well, you have West
K-12,
Valley, Central Valley, and East
community
Valley.
college, and of course, access to several universities within stone's throw of the valley.
Yeah. You have Whitman. You have, Spokane Community College, and
Gonzaga, and the downtown.
Yeah.
University District and Washington State University here.
There's a lot of things to attract business people here without giving up the goods.
But they don't all come to the valley.
They don't all come
In
to
fact,
the valley.
not a lot of them even look at the valley, and that seems to be a...
Well, they would. If somebody sent me an email out, I would definitely invite them.
Sure.
And show them around. I would take my time to go out there and show them.
That would be a responsibility for any council member, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so too. Yes.
Do they do that now?
I don't know. I don't know what they do. They say they're going out and doing things and going to events, but that doesn't help businesses, does it?
Could, but the results tell you the table. I mean,
I don't know. I'd like to see the whole big picture here. I'd like to help people. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. So
your campaign theme is "I'm here to help."
Well, I wouldn't say the theme,
but I mean that's the gist of it, right?
Yeah, I guess pretty much. Yeah. I'm here to help and serve you, just like what it says on the police cars. Serve and protect.
How can people get in touch with your campaign and participate and contribute if they want to?
Well, you can come to our new location at any time at 8121 East Sprague Avenue. We're getting that changed in the next day or two through the PDC for those wanting to know.
Do you have a website?
I did not run a website this year, just because 2 years ago we just didn't get very much off the website. And it was kind of a waste of money and a waste of time. So I wanted to put money into more signs and dedicating more time to getting out and knocking on doors.
Is there a telephone number?
There is.
They can reach your campaign?
Yes, 509-279-3644. That's actually my cell number, and they can get directly right to me.
You.
Yes.
Okay. How many doors are you going to knock on between now and the 6th of August?
Don't know yet. It's going to be a lot of walking, a lot of talking.
You've been at it already?
Yes, yeah.
And you're going to continue.
Yeah, I went out and
Is that pretty important to reach them door to door?
I think so.
Is it?
That way they get to know you. I went out and bought a map from Spokane Valley City Hall, and it's all the streets. So every day I get home, and after I
pick a
get
section
done,
of town and go. Huh?
No, after when I get home, I go and mark it in red ink that I went down that street. Yeah.
Hit all the doors.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't leave anybody out. They say, "Oh, well, no, you just need to knock on the Republican doors." Well, heck no. I want to talk to the Democrats too. I want to talk to progressives. I want to talk to you if you're independent. If you don't even know anything about politics, I want to talk to you. You're still a citizen of Spokane Valley.
And you're here to serve.
I'm here. I want to talk.
Okay. But he is Rocky Samson, and he is seeking position number 2, Spokane Valley City Council in the August 6th primary election. And as you know how you can reach him now. And that's a look at that particular candidacy on this edition of Let's Talk. I'm Mike Fitzsimmons. Thank you for watching.
Let's Talk is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Media, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksMedia.com. We wish you a great day.